Well, hello, my Jedi friends. It's time for the Empath Games. Well, we've had the Hunger Games. Let's have the Empath Games. This will be less traumatic, my Jedi friends. And look, I've just got here and Licked, who's one of my Jedis, has been leaving me messages and has been here early. He's an early bird. And because on the last Jedi Training Academy, I taught him how to instantly reset his energy, he's even left me a little tip here. Licked, you legend. You legend. Just remember, you are the CEO of your own energy, my Jedi friend. The CEO of your own energy. And actually, Licked has brought up a really good point for empaths that I'm going to kick this show off on by bringing up this point because I think it's really important. That as an empath, I've been having this conversation on repeat this week. So there's obviously something in it. There's obviously a reason why. As an empath, your gift, your superpower gift is that you feel what other people are feeling. You fit in well. You know how to manage people's feelings and emotions. And you can get lost being highly sensitive, being empathic. You can get lost on this journey when we try and be all things to everyone else. When you think, hang on, someone's being a bit of an arsehole here, but I'm not going to call them out because I'd rather be nice than straighten people out. And that is where things start to go wrong as an empath. Start to tolerate bad behavior, our boundaries start to slip, and people start to get away with it. People then start to get used to getting away with it, and then it just goes from bad to worse. I've got Linzarella here as well, another one of my Jedis from the previous academy. So I'm surrounded by Jedis today. Good to have you here, Linzarella, and I'm loving your new handle as well. What a winner. What a winner that is. So great to have my Jedis from the get-go here. I decided yesterday just that I'd do a little promo video. It's obviously worked. Look at that. We've hit the ground running today on this live stream. So great to have you here, my Jedi friends. Always good to have an interactive thread. And quite frankly, when I put this idea together, when this live stream together, I thought, well, I'll just see who turns up and we'll talk about whatever they need to. But ever since I put it out there, this is a conversation I'm having a lot at the moment. I even put a LinkedIn post on the Highly Sensitive Empath group. And it was called Getting in Touch with Your Dark Side. Now, so many people think that your dark side as an empath is going all Darth Vader and taking everybody out. Now, the odds are, as an empath, as a highly sensitive person, you probably have to get to that stage before you acknowledge your dark side for exactly this dynamic, the dynamic that we've talked about. You're an empath, you're good at managing people, and you're also good at putting up with shit. And you let stuff go, you let stuff go, you let stuff go, you let more stuff go. We let loads of stuff go. And then one day, boom, no more Mr. Nice Guy or Mrs. Nice Woman. No, you finally blow up. And it's not just one incident you blow up. It's a lifetime of letting this stuff go. The little things, they add up. Little things. This is, to an empath, it's the death of 1,000 cuts. And let's just bring this to life. So you can be in all sorts of, you could be in a social situation and someone might say something cutting, something, that goes right to the heart of it. Oh yeah, you think you're clever, don't you? You think you're clever. You ain't as clever as you think you are. And let the empath let it go. I've let stuff like that go loads and loads and loads of times in my younger years. I just think this is not worth the fight. This is not the hill to die on. It's just not worth it. Just not worth it. And at that time, it wasn't like it really even affected me. It didn't even affect me. Oh, look at this. New Yoda's here. Yes, yes. Heartfelt greetings, Adam and folks. The Jedi Council are gathering. They're gathering. And Linzarella's given us a couple of faces, a couple of emojis, no doubt. And Licked is here. Fair play. I'm the king of XP. Yes, Licked, you are the king. Licked, I just want to say, I'm so impressed with the progress you've made on the Jedi Training Academy that you're actually taking this stuff and making it work for you. And I'm going to give you all the benefit, anyone that's on this stream at the moment, let me just give you the benefit of the conversation that I've had with Licked, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying And that is, it's talking about our energy being affected by other people. I don't like being in crowds, being affected by other people. We get affected by other people. The whole point of energy work is to take back control of our own energy and not be dependent on the moods or the bullshit of others. There you go. There's energy described in a nutshell for you. Oh, look, Grizzly Gur's here. The Jedis are coming from all over the planet. We've got one from the other side of the pond has turned up. Hi, Adam. It's Independence Day in the USA today. Well, Grizzly, good luck to you. One thing that I am very clear on is that you're probably good thing to have your independence, especially because we've actually overtaken you on the most lunatic nation on the planet right now. We're run by lunatics. The asylum has overflowed here in the UK. And they have taken over. They have taken over, my Jedi friends, which means it's time for us all to step up. So yes, well done with your independence. Happy Independence Day to any of my American Jedis. But my American Jedis, my Jedis all over the world realize that we are not tribal in this gathering. We are all family, my Jedi friends. We are family. So, you know, you've got your independence, but this is your real family. And some of us might be Poms. We might be the Brits. We may be your family. We were born here. Well, anyway, I've got mixed heritage anyway. I've Irish dad, Scottish blood. I'm total UK, Vikings all in the mix. I mean, Jesus, I am covered. I am covered from all. I am like a global ambassador. Global blood runs through my veins, my Jedi friends. I do not subscribe to one tribe just because of where I was born. But wherever you are, wherever you're from, whatever you're doing, wherever you be, and whatever energy you bring to the mix, may we amplify it today, my Jedi friends. We are going to amplify our energy together. So as we do this, as I talk, as I do my little random rambles and waiting in between all of your comments, let's just do this, folks. And this is, you know, kudos to you, Licht, for bringing this into the mix here today. Anytime, any place, anywhere, you have the power to transform your own energy. And it doesn't matter how bad a day you're having or how bad a time you're going through. And you do that, let's just do it. Simple steps, my Jedi friends, simple steps. As you listen to me, as you listen to this message, just consciously slow down your breathing, because your breathing controls your mood. That's the first step to taking ownership and control and your power. Consciously slowing down your breathing. Now you're going to ground yourself. Now I've talked about grounding enough. If you don't know how to ground, put it in the comments. I've given you my way. Everyone's got their own way to ground. Ground, slow down your breathing. You're already starting to transform your energy, my Jedi friends. Now, this is the hard part. You're going to stop giving a shit about the opinions of arseholes in your life. Now, that's easier said than done, my Jedi friends. That could be a step up. That's not an instant transformation for some of you right now. But that is a step. If you can do that, wow, energy boost like you've never seen before. You feel it shake. It's almost like you're in Highlander and you've just cut someone's head off. You finally cut that cord and you feel that energy surge because you now realize that this was what was holding you back. Spending way too much of your life giving a shit about people with opinions that do not matter to you and people that you ultimately don't care about because they're probably narcissists or psychopaths or sociopaths and do not give a shit about you. There you go, my Jedi friends. There you go. Bing! 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 What a win. So there you go. As we're watching this, we're all going to raise our energy. And what we're going to do, let's amplify this. Let me actually show you how to amplify it. And it's great that there's a good bunch of you here now. Good bunch of my Jedi. So we can actually do this live. But the thing with energy as well, whether you're watching this now or whether you're watching this on a catch up, it doesn't matter, because we're going to create an energy space now that anyone can tap into. We're all going to connect. We're going to connect with a ball of light above our heads. So we're connected through our grounding cord and the ball of light above our heads. Connect right now. And then from that ball, you're going to energize another ball of energy, which is our collective balls. We've got collective balls, my Jedi friends. We're going to energize that. And that's how we all energize each other. This is how we amplify our energy field. Amplify, feel the energy rise, my Jedi friends. Feel it rise. Feel the rising of the energy. We're connected below, we're connected above, and now we're connecting from the ball of light above our head to another ball of light, which interconnects with all of our energy. Now, this is our energy light family that we're now going to tap into. We're going to energize each other. And the intention makes it happen, my Jedi friends. Energy is thought. Thought is energy. What we think, we amplify. What we think, we expand. So if you're in a bad place, and I know I do talk about dealing with your dark side and dealing with our souls and blah, 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 because it has to be addressed. The only reason I talk about this, you have to acknowledge that this stuff's there so that you can release it, and then you can be your energetic self. You can raise your vibration. So yes, we do want high vibe here, my Jedi friends. We want high vibe. We want the best of us. We want the best of ourselves. You want to bring the best of yourselves to the mix as often as you can. But being the best self to you is acknowledging that you have darkness as well. And when stuff is going on around you, when people are pissing you off, when people are testing your boundaries, you have to stay true to the voice in your head, your dark side, telling you that this is not right or this is not fair. This does not feel good. And this all goes back, it all interlinks with what's called our emotional guidance system. Now, your emotional guidance system is like a sat nav. It's a sat nav. So I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. I'm going to talk about it again because it's really, really important. In this world, there is no such thing as a negative emotion. A negative emotion does not exist. Now, there's stuff that feels positive and feels negative. So stress feels negative, but stress could keep you alive, because let's face it, if a T-Rex walked around the corner, you would want some stress, my Jedi friends. You would want it. You wouldn't want to be Mr. Chilled or Miss Chilled or Mrs. Chilled. No, you wouldn't. You would want stress, because your emotional sat-nav would want you to have the adrenaline surging through your body to get the hell out of there, to keep you alive. So in that situation, stress is good. It's your friend. It's your sat-nav. It's your sat-nav. And, you know, pain is a sat-nav. Maybe it's time to rest. But pain's not even emotion. That's actually a physical response. So let's bring it back to emotional stuff like anger. Anger is usually your boundaries have been violated one too many times. And it's time to do something about it. Time to do something about it. Let me catch up with the comments here. So Grizzly Gurr. Yes, independence is good. Yes, it is. Independence is good for every empath out there, my Jedi friend. So yes, you Americans take the win of your independence, but independence from an energy point of view is not being dependent on the mood or comments of others to influence our own energy. This is about taking back all of our power. That's independence, and anyone can claim that whenever they're ready. So let's tap into this theme of Independence Day. We can all have an Independence Day today, my Jedi friends. So Lindarella has come in. Harassment case, Adam, next level narc, and UK police who make the victim the crime. Woohoo. Well, I'm fighting a good case though, Adam, intellectually, not with violence this time. So let's have a look. Anger's a big one for me. Well, fair play to you, Linzarella. So I hope you don't mind me giving a bit of context to that so people know. So I watched Linzarella go through the Jedi Training Academy and really not get angry about anything. Things weren't working in many respects, in many aspects of life, but wasn't getting angry about anything. And I kept pushing her buttons and pushing her buttons and pushing her buttons until one day she didn't lose it, not by my standards, but by her standards. She definitely had a few choice words to throw at me. And it was the first time that she stopped apologizing for saying stuff that might offend people. Now, in my world, that was a big breakthrough, because if we're not acknowledging the stuff that's pissing us off or apologizing for speaking our truth, that is something that empaths need to get out of the way of. Never apologize for speaking your truth. You can guarantee it, a narcissist is never going to apologize for speaking theirs. So especially when you're talking to narcissists, you just match their energy. This is how I do it. I'm not saying I've got all the answers, my Jedi friends. But what I can say from a personal point of view is, having spent a lifetime of being an absolute mediator, a peacemaker, I'm going to say it again. I was the person, I used to work in a hospital. I was so good at this stuff. I was so good at pacifying. I was so good at talking people down that the hospital manager used to ask if I was working, even if it wasn't in my ward. He used to come and get me because I was that good at this stuff, talking people down. So this isn't about the ability to talk people down. I'm good at that. This was a lifetime of being so good at it that I used to do that in every situation. When in some situations, people shouldn't be talked down. You should just call them an arsehole for being an arsehole. And that was the later lesson in life. Yes, I can pretty much defuse any situation that's ever been thrown at me if I want to. But this was about me personally making a decision that some people, it's just not worth talking to them. If someone's being an arse, if someone's upsetting my friends, if someone is upsetting my Zen, my Jedi friends, why talk them down? Just get them out. Get out or get them out. If it's your house, get them out. If it's anywhere else, just get out. Do not give them the time of day. So this is about respecting my own boundaries, and boundaries came later in life. So when I talk about all of this stuff, it's always context dependent, because I know some of you, like Linzarella, lives next door to a raging narcissist, and that's a difficult situation to navigate. Now, yes, the obvious answer is move somewhere else, but practically that might not be an option in the short term. So sometimes we do have to deal with these things. But I can tell you for certain, Linzarella, you were moved into that situation so that you could establish boundaries, so that you were going to be pushed to the point where you found out where your limit was. And things would have got a hell of a lot worse if we hadn't got you to discover the angry you that knows how to deal with arseholes. So fair play to you. Planet C64 is here. Thank you, Planet C64. Thank you for joining us. Just joining. Hi, Heart Guy. Well, lovely to have you here, my Jedi friend. Join the Jedis. We've got a group of them today. We're in double figures watching. What a win. What a win. We are amplifying energy. And just a quick recap for you, Planet C64. We are all energizing each other at the moment. You're grounding yourself, you're deepening your breathing, you're connecting with your higher self, and you are projecting energy to a communal space in the ether that is energizing all of us. We are all energizing together today on this stream. Together on this stream. Yes, we are. New Yoda's jumped in. I feel for you, Linzarella. Also have tough neighbors with core issues. Well, this is it. Fair play to you, New Yoda. You know, if someone with an ASBO joins in, oh, something's just gone down. Hang on. Oh, sorry about that. Just had a tickle at the back of my throat. Thought I was about to cough. Luckily, had a bit of herbal tea on hand to remedy the situation there. But yes, thanks, New Yoda, for your extreme empathy. Linzarella, absolutely, thank you. And Planet C64, yes, love the shared positive energy. I feel it already. You should all be feeling it now, my Jedi friends. If you're doing it, you'll feel it because you have to open up your energy space. We're going to amplify our energy on this stream. So it's not just me talking at you. This is an opportunity for you to genuinely tap in and energize, and to really feel it. And not only that, continuously throughout this thread, slow down your breathing naturally. Naturally, my Jedi friends. So, a bit of love to you, New Yoda, from Linzarella there. See, the Jedis are connecting from all over the globe. That's how we roll here. That's how we roll. So, just to recap on the first 20 minutes. You are the master of your own energy. And the game for sensitive people, for empaths, is to really take ownership of that fact. And you're going to get some dark times. You're going to get some challenging situations. You're going to get some real challenges in your life. And all of these are a litmus test to see if you're really getting this aspect of energy. And that is, you are in control. You're in control. And Licht is back. I can feel the connection with my higher self strengthening. Well done, Licht. You've done brilliantly. Stay in that zone. Remember, you are in control. You're in control. Part of being an empath, part of being highly sensitive, is that need to connect with others. And if you're in a group of people where the vibration is pretty low, and you're fitting in and you're putting up with bullshit just because these are the best bunch that you have access to, that's where things go wrong. That's where things go wrong. And that's ultimately what this channel is about. To connect people of a higher vibe, to connect people that have had a lifetime of being screwed over and is now time to get the lesson, to raise the vibe, and to connect with your soul family, my Jedi friends. Now, depending on how far down this rabbit hole you're going, and all of you on this stream are in this rabbit hole with me, so I can talk about these sort of things, that we're talking about energy. Now, on this plane, believe it or not, and you can choose to believe it or not, it doesn't really bother me, but we all have past life connections, which means your family here are only here to give you lessons. That only your family by physical connection in this lifetime. Now, the only guarantee of life is death. And when that happens, we leave our body, our mortal soul, and we live on. Now, I can say that for certain because I worked with the dying for 13 years. And I've had enough experience to say for certain that the soul lives on. But I don't expect anyone to believe that. If you don't believe it, that's cool. That's cool, my friends. I didn't believe it. If I hadn't had the experiences that I'd had, I wouldn't believe it either. So I don't expect anyone to believe me. That's all cool. It's all cool. Now, there's plenty I'll say that people won't believe. I'm cool with that. And there's plenty other people will say that I won't believe. I'm cool with that too. I don't have to believe everything that you believe to get on with you. And believe me, I've met all sorts in my little journey. All sorts I've met, and they're not licorice either. So Licht is back. I can feel the connection with my higher self strengthening. Oh, that was a comment you put in. I thought it was a new one, but that's still a good comment. It's still a good comment. I think we got all reminded during this stream to stay connected. Stay connected, my Jedi friends. That's where it's at. It's where it's at. We energize right here, right now, raise the energy level. And to set your weekend up for a good one. We're going to set our weekend up to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, because that's where it's at. So while we're here, while we're energizing, while we're all connected. So if any of you have got any comments or questions or stuff that you want to throw in, I mean, I know that you don't normally need prompting, but I'm going to prompt you anyway. Let's make it an interactive one. Let's have some fun. And not only that, why don't you start getting to know each other? Get to know each other. When you're posting comments and you know that I'll put them on the thread, this is an opportunity through my channel for people to get to know you. Let's connect. Let us connect. Let's connect. Lindarella's back. You always make me laugh, Adam. I appreciate you. Well, thank you. Thank you. And one thing that I will say about that, humor is a superpower gift on this journey. If you don't have your sense of humor, you're going to really struggle. Hang on, we've got a new Jedi here. Gem Monk 3. Hello, I believe it naturally, and I've listened to some past life regressions. It's obvious that we've all had many past lives. Well, we have indeed, Gem Monk 3. In fact, one of the books that I read way back in the day that I was recommended when I finally got in this path was a book by a chap called Brian Weiss called Many Lives and Many Masters. And he was I believe, a hypnotherapist, used to hypnotize his clients. And through that process, came to know that they'd all had past life connections. It's a fascinating book. It's a fascinating book. But anyway, you believe it. So do I. And the odds are most people that are attracted to this stream will believe it as well. And even those that don't believe it will probably be open-minded to do it, because that's just the way that we roll, my Jedi friends. So Licht is back in. I know that there are people and places I need to be present at, but messed them up or got screwed over by negative people. Well, fair play, Licht. Look, we've all had experiences with people that are challenging in our lives. The game for highly sensitive people and empaths is to take back control of our own power. Yes, there's not very nice people out there, but they can only influence our energy to the degree that we give them permission. This is an important concept. Nobody can abuse you without your permission. Now, some of you will tell me, and it's a completely reasonable thing to say, but what about when people do like child sex abuse? The child can't do anything about that. Well, there's also a counter argument there, and I know that we're going really down a controversial stream here, is that we agreed stuff pre-birth to challenge us so that we could grow. That every set of challenges that we have in this lifetime, we said, bring it on. And this is how we grow, to evolve ourselves energetically. To evolve ourselves energetically. So a few comments to catch up on. The Jedis are getting active. I like this. So Lindarella talking about Brian Weiss. Got a signed copy of that. Great book. Fair play to you, Lindarella. It's a good book. Lindarella, yes, laughter, so important too. It is indeed Planet C64. We all need a bit of a laugh in our life, for certain. Gem Monk 3's back. Yeah, fascinating to listen to them. But be careful not to listen to it too much. I got exhausted last time I listened. Well, Gem Monk 3, listening can be exhausting. And empaths and highly sensitive people know this. Some people think it's easy to just sit there and listen. It's much harder to sit there and be quiet and listen than it is to talk all day. In fact, here's something interesting before I go on to the other comments. Here's an interesting thing. Part of the research that I did, I looked into speaking. I actually teach public speaking. That's one of the things that I do. And I talk about people that they interviewed 5,000 event goers and asked them, would you rather spend time with a good speaker or a good listener? 5,000 people interviewed. Now, I'm going to give you an answer to this in a couple of minutes. I'm going to see if any of you can guess how many people said that they preferred to spend time with a good listener rather than a good speaker. Have a crack. Have a crack at that. I shall answer it in a minute or so. To see if anyone wants to have a little guess. And while I'm doing that, we'll read the other comments, especially the healing trauma ones. Well, Gem Monk 3, being highly sensitive, being empathic. Yes, we tend to be an emotional dumping ground for all of our mates and everyone sundry, all and sundry. And Lindsarella will tell you she can't even go into the park and have a picnic or a quiet thing, or strangers just come up to her and start dumping all their problems on her. I've had a bit of that myself. So working our way down. Yes, it's Gem Monk 3. Yes, because it wakes up the emotions in myself too when listening to past life regression therapy. For sure. So Lick says 20%. Well, fair play to you, Licked. I'm assuming you're talking about people that prefer a good speaker with that percentage. And if that's correct, if that's right, then that's not far off. Same with Lindsarella. I'm assuming that you're talking about great listeners. And that is not far off either. Listeners, my guess it is indeed Planet C64. The only question is how much of a swing is it? And it is quite New Yoda. Fair play, New Yoda. I like your style. I like where you're coming from. Let's have a look. 20% for the listener. Well, the actual fact is that 89% of people would prefer, out of the 5,000 that were interviewed, said that they prefer spending time with a good listener than a good speaker. So it's great to be an inspirational, motivational speaker, but the most motivational thing that you can do is actually give a shit and listen actively to your friends. There you go, my Jedi friends. There you go. Mic drop. Shut up, Adam, and be a good listener. Be a good listener. Well, the fact is, I am a good listener, believe it or not. I mean, you catch me talking all the time. Probably think he goes on and on and on. Guy can talk for Britain. He can talk for Britain. That hot guy bloke. He's talking about being a good listener. Well, believe me, my Jedi friends, I've had to listen to quite a lot in my time. And from spending time, even with my good friends, I'm a better listener than most. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I am better than most when it comes to stuff like that. Fair play. And Lick says, I thought they all liked Tony Robbins. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, people have moods, don't they? Sometimes you do want to go and listen to a good speaker. Well, maybe you do. The only reason Tony Robbins is good is because he makes his events so interactive. You'll notice if you are a Tony Robbins fan and you've been to one of his events, that there's lots of pauses where he gets people to pair off or do group work and keeps it interactive. Gives people the opportunity to talk about themselves. It's very cleverly formatted. He's a very good speaker, Tony Robbins, but he's also a very good event planner. Very good. One of the best, if not the best. No question of it. I like Tony. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Tony's a good guy. I had Tony standing next to me. Here's a little story. It's a true story, this. So I went to, I did the Tony Robbins experience. I've done it twice in Excel in London. And I think it was, I can't remember where he did it on the first day or the last day, but the firewalk, it was firewalk time. Now, I'd done a firewalk before. I'd spent a night on a full moon with my NLP coach, who was brilliant. So I'd done a firewalk and I sort of knew what I was getting myself into. And because of that, I didn't have myself in the best mindset, only because it took us so long to get to the fire that I was just cracking jokes. I'd met a few people. I was cracking jokes. We were walking up to Tony. There were about 20 different firewalks. They were just all there. And as we were getting closer, I looked at our firewalk and it was just running out of fire. In fact, it was virtually all ash. And I was thinking, that's not much of a firewalk. It's not much of a challenge. And I stopped getting myself in state. I was having a laugh. I was joking. I was doing everything that I wasn't meant to be doing. And just the second as I was about to stand up, they said, hang on, wait there. And they brought this wheelbarrow. They brought a wheelbarrow and they started shoveling on these hot coals. And I thought, oh shit, I better get myself in state. And as I was doing that, someone was talking at me. They were telling me all this stuff. And I was thinking, just shut up. I was completely ignoring the person. I was completely ignoring them, just saying, just shut up. I need to get myself into place. I walked across. I actually burnt my foot because I wasn't entirely in the right space at that time. I will say that I healed it very quickly. But when I got to the other side, a couple of the girls that I'd been queuing up with said, "Oh, you're so lucky. Wow, you got Tony Robbins talking to you." The person I'd completely ignored that was talking to me was Tony. I had Tony right next to me and I totally dissed him. True story, my Jedi friends. True story. Anyway, let's catch up with all these. My dogs are back now that you're live, Adam. He always joins in. Well, fair play, Lindsarella. We've gone to the dogs again. We've gone to the dogs once again. They like the energy. They're probably tapping into our universal energy where we're all energizing each other right now. So fair play to them. Fair play. Planet C64. The most motivational thing you can do is give a shit and listen. I like you way better than Tony, by the way. Oh, thank you, Planet C64. That is very kind of you. That's very kind. Different strokes for different folks, eh? Well, I'm not quite as loud as Tony, and I think sometimes you can use a bit of that, can't you? And Lindsarella, not familiar with Tony Robbins, but we'll have to check him out. Well, fair play. Tony Robbins is a very good guy, very motivational. His personal story is brilliant. He's a great speaker. He's a brilliant storyteller, and he's a good guy. He is a generally good guy. And if you want a light-hearted way to see him, he's in a film called Shallow Hal. You'll find Tony Robbins as well. There you go. Bit of Tony for you. Bit of Tony promotion for you. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Tony Robbins. What I didn't enjoy so much, I mean, I was there probably about 15 years ago, and you get your energy pumped up for 4 days with Tony. You really do feel like you're ready to, you know, to fly at the end of Tony's thing. It's all about energy, and he does energy really well. And then at the end of it, it was like, right, you can do a 1-year program. You can fly around the world and spend time with me. And it was about £70,000. And I thought, oh. So I can see why Tony makes so much money and how he makes so much money, and fair play to Tony. You know, some people get a lot out of that. But yes, it was a bit of a come down afterwards. It was an energy come down. So I explained it from an energy perspective. Spending 4 days with Tony Robbins and then going home is like the energetic equivalent of a 4-day cocaine fest, where you're on an upper for 4 days. And I will say, for the record, I've never had a 4-day cocaine fest. So I can't speak from direct experience, but I did have a little dabble once or twice back in the day, my Jedi friends, which maybe I shouldn't admit to on a live stream. But there you go. That's the kind of thing I do. I roll. And I haven't done that for many decades, my Jedi friends. So I can say it now and not have to worry too much about those ramifications. But the point being, it was a massive come down energetically after spending 4 days with Tony Robbins. Massive. It was a crash landing. And it was also part of a period where I became an event junkie because I was looking for something else to raise my energy up, because I didn't have these Jedi energy techniques that I have now. Fortunately, I don't need to go chasing all of that event stuff right now because I know how to do it myself. And that's where it's at, my Jedi friends. And there's the story. There's a little story. We have to become our own energy master. Our own energy master is where it's at. And that is the game, my Jedi friends. It is the game. Taking control of your own energy. Now, yes, people will test you. Now, here's the thing, because I will tell you transparently. I'm going through a few challenges lately because I believe it's because I've upped my game. So we're dealing with stuff on a higher level right now. And me and my friend are going through some interesting stuff. And I said to him, we ended up laughing. We were going through this massive traumatic thing, and I made him laugh. And we both ended up laughing till tears rolled down our faces, laughing at our trauma. And what we said was, you know, if this, on the basis that we agreed to this stuff pre-birth, because we're getting bored with reincarnation now. We need to up our game and learn these lessons a lot faster in this lifetime than we've been processing them previously. So with that in mind, we had to up our game a little bit. So we had to get a bit more traumatized in this life. And it's almost like if we were up there, if it was some sort of mad party in between lives, and if there was the Jedi Council saying, right, how many lifetimes do you want to learn all this? And probably had a few drinks and said, no, let's just do it all in one. Let's just do it all in one. And they were probably advising that's a lot to take on board. Are you sure you want to do it? And we would have probably drunkenly said, yeah, and signed a contract without reading the small print. And then got down there and thought, why would anyone do this to themselves? Why would you do it, my Jedi friends? It makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. It's lunacy. But the odds are, if you're watching this and you've decided to accelerate things, and that's part of the game in this lifetime, my Jedi friends, as you will know from this stream, that the odds are you're the breaker of chains. The family domino effect, the family energies pass from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. And none of them had the tools to break the chain of this bullshit and passed it to the next generation instead. So, being the breaker of chains, it means that you have to absorb. You're like a shock absorber, an energetic shock absorber, which means that all this sort of shit is going to hit the fan and you're going to have to deal with it. You know, this is it. All of these people, all these assholes showing up in your world, all these narcissists, all of these challenging life situations, all of this disconnection from your family, of feeling utterly dejected at times. And certainly it's highly likely that a lot of you watching this have very dubious relationships with the large majority of your family, because you just don't fit, my Jedi friends, and they don't have the tools that you have to dealing with this family domino bullshit effect. And there it is, my Jedi friends. You came here to pay a big price, to take one for the team. To take one for the team. And that's where it's at. Now, it's not fair. It's not easy. You can ask yourself, it's not right. And the odds are, it's highly, highly likely that you've at least felt suicidal on a few occasions, because the weight of all of this is like, why would I want to deal with this? Why do I want to deal with this nonsense? But that's where it's at. That's the point you had to be pushed to work out that you bounce. And once you get to that point, that vortex, that void, you realize that there's nothing more to take away. There's nothing to lose. And there go the boundaries. And there comes the resilience, my Jedi friends. My Jedi friends. And Lix jumped in. Tomorrow there's a party at my home because my father turned 60. Wish me success. Well, fair play to you, Lix. A 60th birthday party. Well, you never know. Set your energy space. So here's the thing, Lix. If you're going into any party like that, set your energy. And set the energy of the room as well, the space that you're in. You can do that. Set the energy space of the room to get the highest vibration for you. The highest outcomes, highest vibration for you. There you go. Tammy's back in. I broke one or two of these generational chains. Well played, Tammy. Well played. You are the breaker of chains. You are the Khaleesi. You're the Khaleesi, the energy Khaleesi. And that's just the way that it is. You have to pay the price. And it's not that you have to pay the price. It's that is part of your soul contract. You came here because none of your family could do it. And you were there probably pre-birth going, right, enough of that nonsense. Someone's got to go in and be the bigger person. Someone has to break these chains and deal with this nonsense. And it may as well be me. Gem Monk 3, but you've a louder voice than me. I would speak 3 times lower, I guess, if not lower. Well, fair play, Gem Monk. That is a good point. It's a good point. I could definitely talk a lot lower, but the presenter within me makes sure that everything is a little bit louder. And part of that is not having a microphone, believe it or not. I just used a computer. I've absolutely zero recording equipment. And I've realized that having a booming voice, especially as a public speaker, especially as someone that sort of emceed events, and certainly someone that has been communicating, is that there's nothing more disengaging if you can't hear what the person's saying. So I overcompensate on that front to make sure that nobody falls into that bracket. New Yoda, good luck licked. Fair play, fair play. Thank you, New Yoda. Fair play. It sounds very good. Well, thank you, Gem Monk 3. Thank you. And New Yoda's back in. Chains of metal became chains of flowers. Break the generational chains. You have the power. Absolutely, New Yoda. You know, it's as difficult or as easy as we want it to be. Now, it traditionally feels difficult being sensitive to energy because you don't really, it's not a default, it's not natural to want to piss people off. But it may seem very natural that they want to piss you off. And that's when it gets slightly more challenging, my Jedi friends. So we are all balancing, we're all jugglers, we're all juggling energies around here, and we're all doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. And that's really where it's at. That's absolutely where this is at, because you can't control what's coming through there. It's a bit like Gladiator. It's a scene when they're in the arena and Russell Crowe steps out and says, I don't know what's about to come through those gates, but it will be better if we stick together. That's dealing with families and energy in this lifetime for most people on this channel. We don't know what's coming through those gates. And that is why it is a good thing to connect with your light family, your spiritual family, with people on this group. For the simple reason that you'll get it. Probably most of your family won't. Probably most of your family aren't going to get it. Being the black sheep, well, they ain't going to get that either. You know, safety in numbers for the herd, for the sheep, the sleepy, sheepy people, they will always stick with the group. They'll stick to what they know. They'll stick to what they know. So, Planet C64, I'm soft-spoken, 60 years old, have learned to raise it when necessary. Good luck to licked. Well, fair play to you, Planet C64. And that is a really valuable insight that you've given as well. You know, and I learned this, funnily enough, at an American summer camp many, many moons ago, going back a good few years now. So my first year, I was 19, back in the day. Oh, back in the late 80s. There's a big reveal. Oh, no, it was actually the early 90s. And it was 91. There you go. So 91, I went to the States and I was working in a summer camp, and I was looking after a bunch of kids. And next to me was this Scottish guy called Victor. And every day, screaming at his kids, screaming at them. And none of them were paying any attention. And we used to take the piss out of Victor. Because he'd come out and he'd say, well, yes, kids, sit, do, new. And of course, no one was sitting down at all for our mate Vic. And we even put on a radio show. We called it, me and my mate Mike, who Victor used to call Mick. Adam, Mick, get your kids to sit, do, new. And we were just looking at Victor thinking, you're fighting the wrong battle here. He was always fighting with the kids, always shouting at them. So we ended up a few weeks later, they got rid of the DJ on the radio station. So me and Mick, Mike, we've decided to do our own radio show and called it the Adam and Mick Sit Do New Shoe. So there you go. I was on camp radio at 19 years of age, just a little DJ doing the Adam and Mick Sit Do New Shoe. So yeah, I guess there's always been a bit of a presenter in me. We decided that was going to be a lot of fun. And we used to just tell the kids, bounce around the cabins, go and have fun, scream. And they'd be screaming around the camp. And so the senior members would be coming out, keep your kids down. They didn't realise that we were inciting all of this lunacy from the radio station. Yes, we had a few interesting calls with counsellors saying, you bastards, what you did to the kids last night. And then they'd end up laughing. It was all good, friendly fun anyway. So here we go. You cut ties with one, and before you know it, you start to realize you are no longer the same tribe. Lol. Absolutely. Well, you'll realize that, Linzarella, that usually people that are drawn to this content are going to be black sheep of the family. And that is that's what we're dealing with. So interestingly enough, I've just been zoomed out on my StreamYard thing saying there's studio instability issues. So, which has been posted to me. So I don't know if anyone's still listening in or you can even hear me because I've got studio instability issues to deal with. I'm going to press dismiss. So if you're still here, good luck and well done. Good luck and well done. Fair play. Well, Gem Monk 3 is still here because she's still posting. So fair play. Yep, I used anger a few years ago to show boundaries to a co-worker, and I do not regret it. I don't like it when someone starts to command rudely. Absolutely. You get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to the point where you find where your boundaries are. Just ask Linzarella. She knows all about it. She knows all about that. I can tell you that for nothing. Planet C64, here you find. Thank you, Planet C64. It's good that I haven't been completely cut off. I haven't been red carded yet. No problem here, lol. Thanks, Gem Monk 3. You legend. You absolute legend. Tammy says, I was the grey sheep, graduated to the black sheep. Well, there you go. We can have a coloured, coordinated sheep fest. Who knows? Which colour sheep are you, my Jedi friends? My Jedi sheep. My Jedi sheep. Well, ironically, that whole black sheep thing, I mean, it doesn't really fit in for the Jedis on here because you are not a sheep. You're not really a sheep at all. You are completely, you're going to be like the lone wolf amongst the sheep. Just leave those sheep alone. Get into another place. Get away from them. Fair play. Let's have a look. Linzarella says, Big Brother's watching you, Adam. You sound fine. No instability in the studio, lol. Well, I did wonder about that. I mean, I've never had an alert like that. My screen suddenly got smaller and it says instability issues. I've actually worked out it's not talking about the internet connection. It's talking about my brain. It can pick up on that AI. It's new level. It's next level stuff. It's like, no, this guy is definitely unstable. They may have a point. Gem Monk 3. LMAO. She's laughing her ass off. Fair play, Gem Monk 3. Good on you, Gem Monk. Look at that. Feeling the love from Planet C64. Well, it's good that the Jedis are active, that you Jedi friends are all active. We're all energizing each other. We're all tapping into the universal pool of energy to energize each other at the moment. And this is how energy amplification works. If you put a load of empaths in a room or in a space or in a place like this or on a live stream like this, and you all energize each other, for empaths, this is completely natural. We raise our energy together. It's only, and that's why, I mean, a lot of the stuff I went to, a lot of the events were usually empath-centric, that good people were drawn towards them. Energy stuff, all of the energy training I did was generally full of really good people. The only people that I found weren't good in those environments were some of the teachers whose ego had got the better of them. But that's another conversation for another day. We'll keep it positive here. We'll keep it positive. So fair play. So Linzarella's thrown in a few emojis for us all. And Tammy said, I'm now just pissed off. I'm just now a pissed off empath getting my superpowers back. Well, here's the thing, Tammy. You never lost your superpowers. You just forgot to use them. This is really important to understand. You don't learn how to be energetic. You learn how to tap into powers that you didn't know that you had. So when I explain this, and I'm going to go off in a slightly controversial thread now, and I have spoken about this before, but for me, I don't believe in a God. I'm not religious at all in any way, shape or form. But I don't disagree with religion when it's used for good. Now, for me, the big issue with any sort of religion is this idea that there's a higher energy entity outside of ourselves that we have to ask for help from. In the world of energy, that energy is there and we can tap into it. It can run through us. So if we're taking this from a Christian point of view, I don't believe in a God and the devil. I believe that there's good and bad energy that I can channel. And this is the Vader. This is the Vader Skywalker thing. And I can choose to show up in either of those. Now, most of my life, I'm probably not going to be either. I'm just going to be there minding my own business, and certain situations will come, like when I'm healing, when I was doing healing energy, tapping into the highest form of energy when working with people with energy. And when I was hitting rock bottom and finding my boundaries, that was when I was coming to the darker aspects, the devil sort of aspects of it all. And what does that message want me to get? It wants me to stand up for myself. It wants me to take no nonsense. It wants me to acknowledge that there needs to be clear boundaries in my life. So when I got that message, I realized I channeled it. I had to get to the devil. I had to get to what some people call the devil. It's just called different things in the world of energy. But it's not external. It is for most of the time, but we have the chance to access it and for it to run through us. And that's the only difference. But it's the same thing, just the same thing. So, Gem Monk 3, fair play. Oh, I'm getting warnings again. Thanks, Planet C64. So it's now saying, posted 6 minutes ago, studio instability issues I'm getting on my thing here. It's telling me that maybe my browser needs updating. But meanwhile, Gem Monk is thanking Planet C64. Fair play. Fair play. Well, she actually corrected it to C64. Not Planet 64. It's a B-52 song, that one, Gem Monk 3. I asked Planet C64 all about it. There you go. The B-52s. And it wasn't the Love Shack either. Showing my age there. Showing my age, my Jedi friends. And speaking of which, look at this. Gem Monk's back. Because indeed, I believe that's what happened that time to me too. It did not come from the ego. Well, we've all got ego. We're all going to be balancing that. And, you know, it's certainly I've noticed people that teach energy or people that run spiritual communities, the person at the top is usually facing some sort of ego issue or control issue. There's usually something going on there. Not always, but quite often. Interesting. And we'll probably all have to face it at some stage. It all lies within us. So I'm making no judgment on it. She came from Planet Claire. Yes, she did. Fair play. Fair play. The atheist paradox. In order to believe in God, one must have a definition for him. Absolutely, New Yoda. And let's face it, in this day and age, is it to him? Is it to her? Is it to they, them? Who knows? A ubiquitous being. It is all energy. There's gentleness. But that's another debate for another day. But yes, I know what you're talking about. And speaking of knowing what I'm talking about, I've just seen that we're coming up to the hour mark now, and I don't like to ramble on too much longer than an hour because that's that's probably not going to help anyone. People won't watch it otherwise. So I'm going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes, my Jedi friends. If any of you've got any final sign-offs, any questions, anything you want to share for the weekend, any independence messages for our American Jedi friends, then do throw them on the thread. And otherwise, I'll wrap this up. But let me finish up by saying, as a final thought, that you are in control of your own energy. Absolutely. You're in control. And Gem Monk 3 says, yes, I went back into thoughts that maybe I should not share other details. That's why I lost focus. Fair play, fair play. Well, Gem Monk 3, it's good to find you. Bye. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me, my Jedi friends. And I believe this is your first live stream that you've had with the Jedis. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for being so active. Licked, thank you, Adam. Well, Licked, good luck at the party for your dad's 60th. Remember, you can set the energy. Remember, you're in control. And remember, you're the CEO of your energy. And don't let anybody take you down. Don't let anyone affect your energy. And if it gets really bad, just go for a walk. Leave the party, go for a walk. Have a little lap, get your energy back, and go in, ready for action. Fair play to you. New Yoda, thank you for the live stream, Adam. Have a great weekend, Joel. Thank you, New Yoda. Always good to have you here. You're always very welcome, my Jedi friend. Tammy, thank you, Adam, for keeping it real as always. Thank you, Tammy, and happy Independence Day to you, my dear. May it be wonderfully independent as you take control of your energy and get independence on that front as well. And Gem Monk, yes. Well, thank you, Gem Monk. Gem Monk 3, thanks for joining us. Well, it's good to see new faces today on today's energy stream. And for you all, we have created this space now that you can tap into. That energy is there. We have created a space to tap into. So if you are not watching this live, you can do the exercise that we talked about earlier, and you can energize from it, because that energy will stay there, because it is timeless, my Jedi friends. We do not work within the context of time here. We can tap into this anytime, any place, anywhere. And there it is, my Jedi friends. That seems like the perfect way to sign off this stream. Have a fantastic weekend, and I shall catch you all again very soon, no doubt.